Many business owners don't take the time to understand the legal aspects of running a business here in the UK. That is, of course, until it's too late. Now, I understand that the legal aspects of running your business here in the UK can be extremely daunting and highly complex for many business owners to actually understand. But how do you ensure that you are running your business in the UK in a way that is compliant with the UK's regulations? Now, as an accountant that's worked with business owners over the last 10 years, I have come across many business owners who have failed to take the proper time to actually understand how they need to ensure that their business remains compliant with the regulations of running their business here in the UK. So today we're going to be talking about the legal requirements of actually starting a business here in the UK to ensure that you minimize your risk of actually losing out on potential revenue and also incurring fines and penalties along the way. Start with, many business owners don't take the time to actually properly assess what type of business structure would be the best one to run their business with. Now, it's important to think about your business structure almost as though it's the foundation of your business. So having the wrong foundation in place can be really detrimental to the overall business success. Okay, so it is important that you take the time to choose wisely between, what sort of business structure do you want to use as part of running this business? Do you want to run your business as a sole trader, through a UK limited company, or through a UK partnership structure? These are all business structures that I have previously spoken about here on my channel, and I also touch a little bit on the tax implications of using each of these business structures. I'll be sure to leave the relevant videos in the description box below so you can watch it after you watch this video. But essentially, from a legal standpoint, having the right business structure will really help you protect your personal assets, as well as ensuring that you are doing the right thing from a legal perspective. Now, the next thing you're going to want to think about is to understand the financial and tax compliance aspects of running your business here in the UK, okay? Because this is going to be really important when it comes to ensuring that you are legally compliant with running your business here in the UK. Now, many business owners that have businesses here in the UK will usually have to register with HMRC for tax purposes. Now, there are different types of taxes here in the UK. I won't go into all the relevant detail here in this video, but as a brief summary, you will need to think about, ensuring that you are keeping on top of the rules when it comes to income tax, and you're aware of what the rules are when it comes to VAT, and also when it comes to self-employment taxes. Okay, these are also topics that I've shared lots of videos on my channel, so do feel free to check the links below or check my channel if you're unsure of any of the things that I'm mentioning here in this video. Next thing you're going to want to make sure you do is to make sure that you actually obtain the relevant licenses and permits. Now, depending on what type of business it is that you're running here in the UK, some businesses might find that they need particular types of licenses and or permits to actually operate their business here in the UK. For instance, if you operate a business that is within the food industry, then many a times you will need to actually apply to your local council to obtain a license, okay, in order to actually serve food to the general public. There are other types of businesses here in the UK that will usually require on a legal basis to have licenses and permits to actually operate their business here in the UK. This is also going to be very important, particularly for business owners who might actually want to operate their businesses nationally within the UK. It will be important for you to make sure you take your time to study whether or not the industry that you are going to operate that business within actually requires specific licenses and permits to operate in the UK. Now, that leads me on to understanding particular laws that come as a result of employment. Okay, so this is really touching on the UK's employment laws and regulations. This aspect is very important, especially if you're someone who intends to eventually hire staff, okay? And you're going to need to understand what the UK's employment law has to say when it comes to you actually hiring staff. There's a lot that you need to understand, especially around things like the national minimum wage. You also want to ensure that you are complying with the UK's laws when it comes to actually paying your staff the relevant benefits that they're entitled to from a statutory perspective. These are just a few things that legally you want to make sure that you are remaining compliant on through actually studying what the laws say when it comes to these particular issues. Now that leads me on to the next thing that many business owners don't think about, which is protecting their intellectual property. Now, your intellectual property is a very valuable type of asset, and it could include things like your logos and symbols used for your business. It could also include things like the softwares that you generate for your business, and also any potential digital platforms that you might have created as part of this business. Now, your intellectual property, like I mentioned, is very valuable to the business, and often many business owners fail to actually think about protecting it when it comes to the legal aspect of running their business here in the UK. Various methods that you can take to actually ensure that the intellectual property of your business is actually well protected. And some of the most common routes to take will usually include actually registering maybe a copyright against that particular intellectual property, or indeed registering a trademark against that particular intellectual property. It's very important that before you actually start your business here in the UK, you've asked yourself, am I actually running this business in a way that is compliant with the UK's regulations? Because if you're not, then chances are you will risk having fines and penalties in the long run, or potentially you might even find that you lose revenue as part of failing to take the right steps to actually follow the legal requirements of having a business here in the UK. And this is going to be the case irrespective of the type of business structure that you run here in the UK. So that is whether or not you have a business as a sole trader, as a UK limited company, or indeed you have a business through a limited liability partnership structure. It is going to be extremely important that you understand what the legal requirements of starting a business here in the UK are. And if you want to learn more about the business structures here in the UK and learn all about some of the considerations that you should think about when trying to determine which of these business structures might be the best to start your business with here in the UK, then click any of these videos that I've put up here for more information. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notifications.